I'm joined once again by Colby Chaos Covington, who's coming off a 5th round TKO victory over Tyron Woodley at UFC Vegas 11. Colby, how's it going?
It's going great. You wouldn't be able to notice by these great looks that I was in a fight a week ago, but what can I say? I'm the American winning machine, and I'm getting better every time I step out in that octagon.
What a great win that was a couple weeks ago. But before we talk about the performance, I wanted to go pre-fight, leading into that fight with Tyron Woodley. You didn't do any media. You kind of went radio silent, only doing a limited amount of interviews. What was the reason for that?
Yeah, the thing, James, is, I'm just over these fake news media sources trying to make money off my name now. Obviously, they're entertained when I come on their show, but the amount of ratings and numbers that I'm doing for them, I just don't feel like doing it anymore because, this is the woke mob. These are all the people that are trying to get me canceled. But you cannot cancel Colby Covington Incorporated, James. All these snowflakes that are in their feelings and got their feelings hurt, that's their problem. I'm just getting started, and the best is yet to come.
It was a great performance, very dominant. Going into that 5th round, was there a part of you that was worried you might not get the finish, just because we're going to the very last round of the fight?
No, I knew at the end of the 4th round he was done. I looked in his eyes when the time was up, and he just put his head on the ground. He looked at his coaches like he didn't want it anymore. The amount of strikes, I think I broke history in that 4th round alone for getting the biggest strike differential versus an opponent, and a world-class opponent at that. So it was like 130 unanswered strikes to his 2 strikes. So there's another record setter. But I knew he was done, man. I cut him open on both eyes. I saw the look in his eyes. I did a lot of good body work throughout the fight. Landed some good knees, some good kicks, and my ground and pound was vicious. So I knew he was done, and that's what I wanted to do, James. I had to come and make a statement. I wasn't there to do what everybody else has done and beat him by decision. I came and I finished him. No one's finished him like that in the UFC, and that's why I'm the greatest fighter in the world right now.
You didn't have a huge layoff heading into this fight, but we hadn't seen you since December leading into the fight. You look good in there. How did you feel, not only with having a couple months off in between fights, but also switching camps and training at MMA Masters?
I felt the best I've ever felt, James. This is Colby Chaos Covington 2.0, and I've been telling everybody about it, but it's not just a catchphrase. It's actually a way of life, and it's the truth, and the truth cannot be denied. They can do these smear campaigns on me. They can do this fake news, cancel culture bullshit, try and bow down to the woke mob, but I don't bow to nobody. This is America. The only person I'm bowing is to the great president, Donald Trump, or to God. And besides that, nobody. And I felt so good because this fight was bigger than me, James. This fight was for all law enforcement officers. This fight was good versus evil. This was me, getting to send a message to all these other players, because in sports right now, you see it's very one-sided, James. It's not, you don't get to see both sides of the spectrum and both sides of opinions. You're just seeing one side, the left. They're trying to force this narrative down your throat. They're trying to shove it, and no one else can say anything. But now I showed up. Now what's LeBron going to do, that spineless coward who's put a target on innocent law enforcement officers' back, and for no reason? I mean, he's literally the reason and cause that David Dorn was shot in cold blood. These 2 deputies were shot in L.A. All these police shootings, people are trying to get him. So, he painted a target on those backs. Now he has nothing to say about them. He said all the bad things about it. What about all the good things? He's never said one good thing about what they do. He just wants to talk about the 1% of the 1% and vilify these law enforcement officers. So it's just disgusting, man. I'm just so glad I could shut up this Marxist communist. And, everybody knows what the Black Lives Matter stands for. They're just trying to destroy the black nuclear family.
What was the support like from the police community heading into the fight, with the fact that not only do you go and visit the police officers a lot, but you're very vocal about rights for police officers?
100%. It was on my mind before, during, and after the fight, fighting for them, giving them, some good words now. Everybody's trying to make them seem like they're the villains. They're the bad people of America. No, they wake up and go serve our communities and America every single day, not knowing if they're going to come home to their wife and kids, but they do it because they're trying to, hold law and order. So that's important. So to have their support before the fight was so big. And, I go down to Miami Beach PD occasionally, and I shoot with those guys at their range and hang out and boost the morale. And it was honored that I was able to have Sergeant Charlie Weiss in my corner for this fight. He was a corner man. He served our country in the military and a law enforcement officer. And now he's a sergeant with the Miami Beach Police Department. So it was an honor, James, to have him in my corner and just give me a little extra. I got the dragon energy from seeing the president before, and that dragon energy cannot be stopped, man. I'm telling you, I'm unstoppable right now when I get shook in hand from the president of the United States. And then to have, a law enforcement officer in my corner, it was just so humbling and inspiring. And it doesn't matter who you put in front of me, James, right now. no one's going to stop me.
And post-fight, you get the call from the president, Donald Trump, and it's a really cool moment where you get to see you on screen as, you know, you're getting the phone handed to you. You see that it's the president, Megan Levy telling you to put it on speakerphone. Where does that rank in terms of life moments, having the president call you right after a big win like that?
It probably ranks in the top 2 things I've ever done. I mean, right up there, going to the White House and being the only fighter in the history of the sport to go to the White House and hang out with the sitting president. But now I have a sitting president leaving his rally a little early to make sure he turns on ESPN Plus and watches my fight and then call me directly after to send my congratulations and tell me he's a fan. I mean, it doesn't get any more humbling for me. And it's just incredible, man. I could have never thought that I'd be here in this position and having the president of the United States, the most powerful person in the whole entire world, calling me and being a friend. And it's just, the support's unreal, man. And the best thing is that it's just the start. We're just getting started. 4 more years of Trump. The Trump train's coming. You better vote Republican this election, because this is an election of good versus evil. So let's go good.
You feel like in a way too, it kind of shut up some of the people that said you weren't really friends with Trump. I remember people were saying that, you know, Trump went to Masvidal's fight, but he never went to yours. I mean, this is a phone call from the president after a big win. I think that pretty much solidifies that you are pretty good friends with the current president.
James, I'm the one that opened the door for the president to come watch fighting. You know, I am the president's favorite fighter. And, you know, I went to the White House. No one of those fighters done that. The only reason he went to that New York fight to watch that broken, mediocre fighter championships, because that's what it was. The BMF is not baddest motherfucker. It's broken, mediocre fighter championships. The only reason he went to that, James, is because I was supposed to be fighting for the title that night against Usman, and they had to pull it. Usman had to push it back to December because he needed more time to get ready and do more EPO. So, you know, he had to push it back an extra month. So that's the only reason, is the president put in his schedule when the times that we were talking of negotiating that fight, and I agreed to fight it, and the ESPN and the UFC started making an announcement that it was going to be there, and they started putting the machine behind it. He'd already put in his schedule and marked that out. The guy's the busiest man in the world. You know, he can't just move around his schedule on a week's notice or even a month's notice, because he's so jam-packed with, you know, all these policies and making America great again and making the world great again. So, you know, he wouldn't even have been there without me. But, you know, getting multiple calls from him, having the support from the first family, Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, Kimberly Guilfoyle, you know, it's amazing, man. It's surreal. It doesn't feel real sometimes. I still feel like I'm dreaming every single day to, you know, be able to have this opportunity and be so blessed to be so close to the president and the first family and just some of the people with the Trump campaign. So it's an inspiring journey that I've been on, and the best is yet to come. And I'm just getting better every single time out.
And I saw your interview with Submission Radio, sort of addressing the comments you made towards Black Lives Matter and Tyron Woodley, but I didn't get your thoughts on what you said towards Kamaru Usman after the fight. You guys got pretty heated. You were kind of put on the spot. Did you expect that much backlash with people calling you racist? And also, do you feel like it kind of took away from your fight a little bit, having Usman, you know, verbally spar with you after a big win like that?
I mean, who's taken away from my win? The fake news media, the narrative that they're trying to shove down your throat. There's nothing I said that was racist, James. Even the president of the UFC, Dana White, came out and supported me. He said, dude, he didn't say anything racist. I don't know what you're talking about. James, we live in a soft society these days. These dudes want their safe spaces. These journalists that are in their mom's basement that don't even have journalism degrees. They're not even real journalists. And they just have opinion. They're biased opinion with the way they journal and the way they write their articles. And that's just them trying to get me canceled, trying the woke mob to come out, you know. But you cannot cancel Colby Covington Incorporated. I never did anything wrong. I didn't say anything racist. There's nothing they can say. There's nothing they can do to stop me, James.
Did you see after the fight that Bloody Elbow did an article where they went and contacted all your sponsors and tried to get them to comment on some of the post-fight comments that you made?
You know, I think that's funny. I did see that. You know, one of my friends brought that to my attention. And I think that's funny, James, because first off, that's not even one of my sponsors. You're going to people that aren't even my sponsors. My sponsors, Bang Energy. You want to be like America's champ? You want to be the people's champ? You want to be like the cardio king? Then you need to drink some Bang Energy. I'm also sponsored by, you know, mybookie.ag, you know, my betting website bookie. They sponsor me. You know, I'm sponsored by Howitzer. You know, they support the troops. They support law enforcement. They support military. The proceeds of all the stuff bought at Howitzer, you know, gets donated back to our people, our heroes, our real celebrities. You know, these woke athletes aren't our celebrities. They're not our heroes. The heroes are the people that put their life on the line for our red, white, and blue flag, and the people that would be willing to die for you to protect your freedom. So those are the heroes, law enforcement, military. And that's what I love about Howitzer. That's one of my sponsors. These other sponsors, James, I don't know where these guys are coming from. They're not my sponsor. I have my independent personal sponsors. They're not my sponsor. They sponsor the company that I am contracted to be an independent contractor for, but they're not my personal sponsor. So I think it's funny that they're coming out trying to make these negative comments when you're not even my sponsor.
And on that same note, are you ever worried about your personal safety? I know you like to promote the fights. I know you like to say a lot of things, but there's some people that are genuinely angry at you. Do you ever worry that, hey, if you're out for lunch or something, someone might try and attack you?
It's crossed my mind, but am I worried about it? No, man. You want to break the law? You want to be an animal? You want to do that? You want to break the law? This is America. You know, there's laws for a reason, man. This isn't the Wild Wild West anymore. You know, the laws were put in place to protect people. If someone wants to break the law and they want to try something, I mean, I am the best fighter in the world, so they better hope they have a weapon. But the good thing is that I'm getting weapons training with the Miami Beach Police Department. I'm well equipped to shoot a motherfucker. They want to come in, break in my house, they want to do some lawless shit, they're going to get shot. And if they don't get shot, they're going to get these knuckles. And I'm telling you right now, they just retired Woodley and put him on a stretcher, and just like I called before the fight. So you probably don't want to fight me, but you know, I'm not worried, man. I have no fear in life, James.
It seems like Jorge Masvidal is the next fight for you. I saw in your interview with Submission Radio, you're sort of targeting that as December or January. When was the last time you spoke to the UFC about that potential matchup? Because that's a mega fight that I think's got to happen.
Yeah, the dialogue on that potential fight was immediately after I got out of the octagon. Dana White came up to me and said, hey, we want to do you and George Masvidal next. That's a great fight. That fight sells. It's a money fight. It's one of the biggest fights. It's bigger than most of the title fights. I don't know if there's a bigger fight in the UFC right now than me and him. We're definitely the biggest fight in our own weight division. So definitely, I mean, it's the biggest fight to make. It's a pay-per-view seller. You know, we can sell who's the king of Miami, man. I run the streets of Miami. He thinks he's from Miami and he runs the streets, but he knows who daddy is. I'm his daddy. So we need to settle this in Miami. It would be great to do it at the American Airlines Arena. Do it on pay-per-view when the fans come back, because you know, our great governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, you know, he just lifted all the restrictions. So, you know, restaurants are fully open again. Places are at full capacity again. So there's no social distancing anymore. And we can get back to work and we can get fans in arena, more importantly. And fans in arena for this fight is what it should be. And what it, you know, the hyping behind it. You're going to have America's champ, me, versus Street Judas Masvidal.
And when negotiating a big fight like this between you and Masvidal, obviously the numbers have to line up, but I know you told me that you actually don't have a manager anymore. You deal with the UFC directly. My question is, when did that change happen? Was that before the Woodley fight, or did this take place after this fight?
Yeah, no, this is before the Woodley fight. I had to let go of the management agency that I was working with. You know, they weren't doing their job, and you know, they weren't being transparent with my career. This is my career. I'm the one fighting. I'm the one putting the blood, sweat, and tears on the line, dude. You're just sitting in your suits and you're already taken care of. So if I see someone's not actively working for me and trying to better my career and being transparent with me and telling me what's going on, because I don't hear anything that's going on from the UFC side, what they're saying about me, and I'd like to know what they're thinking. You know, I'm here. I'm a company man. I'm here to fight, man. I'm the best fighter in the world, so I want to know everything they're saying, and you know, I'm going to keep proving them right or wrong, you know, and doing what I do best, and that's win. And I love to fight in that octagon. So, you know, yeah, it's been a blessing, James. It's better to worry about your own career and take things in your own hand. You know, it's just, there's not much that managers can do these days for us. And I'd rather just, you know, be straight up with the UFC and have that type of relationship with them that, you know, I'm here to stay. I'm not going anywhere. And, you know, I love being a UFC fighter and a UFC champion and the best fighter in the world, and let's keep doing good business together.
And would you say your relationship with Dana White is good at this point? I think a year ago, if we were sitting here doing an interview, it might have not been as good as it is right now. But with the fact you both, you know, have a relationship with Donald Trump, and also he sort of had your back after the fight when a lot of people felt like your comments were out of line. Yeah,
it's definitely improved. You know, I mean, the past is the past. You know, people grow up, people mature. You know, times move on. So, you know, the relationship has evolved. You know, we're doing business together, and you know, I have respect for Dana White with what he's done. You know, he's built an empire. You know, he was able to buy the UFC for cheap money, like $1 million, and became a billionaire from it. So, you know, Dana White's a legend, and more importantly, what he's been able to do for UFC fighters during this time, during this pandemic, he's been able to give normalcy, give entertainment to the fans, give us fighters an opportunity to make money and fight. So that's so commendable, and I respect Dana so much for that, you know, because all these other commissioners are shut down. They have to listen to the woke mob, and then they try and force a narrative down your throat, and you have to listen to this one narrative, and if you speak up against it, you'll get canceled or you won't have a job. No, Dana White's not like that, man. He doesn't limit our free speech. We're able to say what we want. Obviously we can't cross the line with things, but there's nothing the line's been crossed. So, I got to respect Dana for giving normalcy to fighters and fans, and given the right to say whatever we want to say and get out across our chest.
Why do you think Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns hasn't been booked yet, in your opinion? Because that's a fight that should have been made right after Usman's last fight, especially since it was scheduled to happen before Masvidal stepped in.
I would say it hasn't been booked because no one knows this kid off the street that's going to fight Marty Fake Newsman. I mean, who is the guy? No one's ever heard of him. I mean, who has he beat? What has he done? He hasn't done anything. So, I mean, I don't know. The fans don't care about that fight. I mean, they could put that fight together. I don't think they're going to sell more than 10,000 tickets or 10,000 buys on pay-per-view or wherever you want to put that on. You can't put that on pay-per-view. That's not a pay-per-view fight, So both the guys are very unlikable and just not good people, and they don't sell. So no one wants to see that. No one cares about that fight, and who knows if it ever happens. I think Marty's sitting back thinking, oh shit, I'm not going to make any money with this fight. So who knows? He's probably weighing his options. Of course, he's looking for these easy fights with lightweights or anybody else. He doesn't want to see me in that octagon again. He knows what's going to happen. He knows he got so lucky in the first fight. He knows he got every call his way and every call was against me. He knows what's coming, James. I could see it in the look in his eyes. I could see the way he was talking, just saying the same thing over and over. I could see the fear in him. He knows what's coming. He felt my power. Took a lot of brain cells from Marty Fake Newsman's head, a lot of them, wobbled him multiple times. Was about to finish him with a liver kick, but he faked a nut shot. And Mark Not-So-Goddard let him get a 5-minute rest and timeout that completely changed the momentum of my fight. He would have been finished in the second round. So, and then obviously the bullshit early stoppage, the fake eye poke. There's a fake fight, fake ref, and it needs to get run back. Round 2 is going to be electric, James. This is Colby Chaos Covington 2.0 now. It's going to be electric. You haven't seen the best of me yet, and I can't wait to come back and blow the world's mind again.
I know you formed Colby Covington Incorporated, and I know in terms of your gym is now MMA Masters. What was the connection there, and how did that all come together?
Yeah, James, when I started Colby Covington Incorporated, the biggest thing that I wanted was the best coaches in all aspects of martial arts. So, I seeked out the best jiu-jitsu player and the best judo guy in the world, and it just so happens to be the same person, a guy named Daniel Valverde. And, I decided to do a one-on-one with him, and I found out how good he was. I've heard all these stories, no one could tap him out. He taps out everybody. He's the black belt killer. That guy would easily walk through ADCs and Abu Dhabi and any high-level jiu-jitsu tournament there is, and I'd put all my money on it in my bank account because he's that good. And he still trains with me. I mean, it's just amazing to have him on the mat still giving me so much knowledge and such a hard look because he's definitely still the best in the world, and he's just unbeatable. He's amazing. And then, I seeked him out for Colby Covington Incorporated, and then I had to get a good guy that worked for my style for kickboxing and my striking game because, obviously it's always going to be mixed in with my wrestling, and I'm the most well-rounded fighter in the world, but it has to be a good kickboxing games, and that's a guy named Cesar Carnero, and he's completely changed my game. We've been working really hard, and I just see the timing. The timing is so much different in the octagon now, and I'm unhittable, and my timing is untouchable. So I'm going to keep finishing guys. Jorge Street Judas Masvidal is getting finished. I guarantee he's getting knocked out. And then Marty Fake Newsman, put my money on it. You heard it here first on the James Lynch Show. I'm knocking out Marty Fake Newsman next.
What about training partners at MMA Masters? Who are you primarily getting to work with? Because I did speak to Nico Price, and he said that you guys never trained together. So who are some of the bodies you get to work with?
Yeah, I got some great bodies in the gym, James. I got a kid, up-and-coming kid. He's undefeated, Miguel Bieza. He's a great fighter, man. He's coming off a great win, knocking out Matt Brown. He's got a great future potential in him, and he has a ton of potential. I mean, the sky's the limit for that kid. So he's a good guy to get a good look from. I got another kid that's up-and-coming, very young kid, but very good wrestler and just all-around fighter, Richard Mayo. Colin Luberts, a kid named Mike Lilly. He's a great training partner. And it's just amazing. We have southpaws, we have orthodox, we have wrestlers, we have strikers, we have jiu-jitsu, we have judo. I mean, there's just so many more things that I'm getting now, James, that I never got in the past at the old gym I used to train at. So it's just amazing, man. It's just the improvements I'm making every day. I can see it in my game, and I see it in the fights now. That's why I didn't get touched last weekend. That's why I look flawless. I don't got one black eye or one scratch on me. So, the best is yet to come. I told you all before, Colby Chaos Covington 2.0. I was playing before. I'm serious now, James.
You went to meet Donald Trump before the fight. I don't know if you were expecting Ali Abdelaziz to be there. Did you know that he was going to be there? And if so, what was your reaction when you did end up seeing him?
No, I was not. Well, I was expecting it like a day before because they invited me like maybe 2 weeks before. And then they said like a day before, like the list of the people that are going to be there. So, he was going to be there. So, what could I do? I got to show my professionalism for the president of the United States and the president of the UFC, Dana White. I'm the ultimate professional. I'm a company man. I'm not going to break the law and try and attack him in public and put innocent people's lives in danger like he tried to do to me and he swung on me. So, he knows who his daddy is. He knows what would happen if we fought, but he wants to look like a tough guy when really he's a coward. But speaking of that guy, James, it's funny you say that because he was coming out early in the week and he was talking about supporting the Black Lives Matter movement and trying to talk shit against me and, Black Lives Matter, this and that. When he was the same guy that was sitting at Donald Trump's rally and the Black Lives Matter people came in with their flags and he was screaming against them, boo, fuck you, Black Lives Matter. Justin, and he was telling Justin, hey, Justin, go get him, go beat him up and kick him out. Boo, Black Lives Matter. And then now he's supporting Black Lives Matter on the internet, James. Isn't that ironic? Isn't that funny? He wants to play both sides of the fence.
I don't know if you saw the tweet, but Ali Abdelaziz said basically that you use racism to promote all your fights. What was your reaction to that?
I don't catch that because I don't pay attention to what he says. Who gives any attention to that guy anymore? I mean, there's no truth to any of the validity of what he's saying. It's all fake news now. Now he's playing both sides of the fence, James. Oh, yeah, Black Lives Matter, boo, get Justin to beat them up. Oh, but now Black Lives Matter is a big deal. Support Black Lives Matter, blah, blah, blah. So you can't lose, James, when you're playing both sides of the fence. So, that's a coward's spineless move to make. And, he's just like LeBron James.
I thought it was interesting in that photo with you and Donald Trump that you were on the other side and Ali Abdelaziz was with Henry Cejudo and Dana White. You were next to Justin Gaethje. Did you and Justin get to talk at all? Did you get along?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to him. He's not my concentration or someone to worry about. I'm there hanging out with the president of the United States, the leader of the free world, the greatest American president of all time, Donald J. Trump. So, my focus and attention was for the president and just my eyes were lit up and it was a dream. So I was just enjoying that. I wasn't paying attention to anybody else.
What's the latest with you and Dan Lambert right now? He used to be your manager. I know you guys have sort of parted ways since then, but what's the current relationship with you and Dan Lambert?
Yeah, man, Dan's a great guy, man. Nothing but love and respect for that guy. We haven't had any calls recently. I mean, it happens now. Now I'm aligned to fight one of his fighters, Colby Covington Incorporated going against, Dan Lambert's fighter, Street Judas, Jorge Masvidal. So, we're not going to have probably be talking before the fight, but I'm sure we'll be talking after the fight. And I've talked to him a couple months ago back and, I still got mad respect for him, man. He fought for me during his time, but, it's a new chapter now, James. Times have changed now and, there's no hard feelings. There's no animosity between either of us. And it's nothing but love and respect at the end of the day.
Would you go see a pro wrestling show with him?
Absolutely. For sure. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah, I figured as much. You guys are both big pro wrestling fans, and that's something you guys have done together in the past. One other thing I wanted to ask, because I didn't see the Submission Radio guys ask you, what is the plan for the next couple weeks? You're looking at sort of a winter, early 2021 fight with Jorge Masvidal, but what's the plan in terms of the next couple weeks? Are you going to take some time off?
No, I was in the gym today. I was training with Cesar Carnera today, working on some new angles, new movements, new timing drills, and I'm already back to getting better, man. I didn't take any damage in the fight, so it was a flawless victory with no scratches on my face. So I wanted to get back to training. I only took a week off, and I'm already back to it. So I'm prepared to fight tomorrow, next weekend, 2 weekends. The UFC knows I'm a gamer, and I'm ready to fight, and I'm the best fighter in the world. So I'm going to stay ready when they need me. And hopefully Jorge Masvidal doesn't delay this and drag this out longer than it needs to go because – now he knows what's in front of him. Now he knows daddy's coming. Now he knows he's got to fight his father. So he knows he's going to get embarrassed. His face is going to get marked up. I'm not going to be looking to dance on Jorge Street Judas Masvidal's feet like Marty Fake Newsman does. I'm going to be dancing on his face. I'm going to break his face. And just like I said, Woodley was leaving on a stretcher for this fight, and it came true. Masvidal is leaving in a body bag.
Colby, always appreciate the time. If you got anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media you want to plug, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, big shout out to all the first responders, all the military, all the law enforcement officers out there that are protecting our country, sacrificing so much, sacrificing their lives, putting it all on the line, to keep communities safe and keep law and order. Can't thank you guys enough. You guys are the real heroes, the real celebrities of America. Thank you guys so much. big thank you to the Trump family. They've taken me in like one of their own. They give me first-class treatment just like they give to America. And I just love them so much. And you know, I'm just going to keep fighting for those guys. And just like they fight for us and they fight for the people and they fight for America through the smear campaigns, through the fake news, but they continue to fight. And for nothing. It's not to align their pockets like slow Joe Biden would do, to align the American people, to give the people a better economy. So big shout out to the Trumps and my sponsors, Bang Energy, MyBookie.ag, and Howitzer Clothing. Thank you guys. Love you. Oh, and Luigi Girardi, my suit maker. He makes some of the most fire suits in the game. And, you know, I love that guy too. So, James, thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure talking to you again. I'm sure we'll catch up again soon.